Hello, everyone. Joe Dichiara, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown Metro Manila for a scheduled live interview with one of our new interns. Not everything works out as planned. I've learned that, especially when you're doing live stuff like this. But you got to learn how to pivot. You got to learn how to pivot, and I learned that from some of the best people in the industry doing these kinds of shows. And I said, what could I give people in place of interviewing one of our star students, one of our new interns? And I thought maybe I can spend the time with you talking about our Jumpstart program. Jumpstart was not really an idea that I woke up with. Hey, Eileen, how are you? Thanks for supporting me. Uh, anyway, Jumpstart was not something like most things that I do. I'm an entrepreneur. I wake up with an idea, and I said, "This is the greatest idea since sliced bread," and then I just go with it. I have proof of this. It's an ongoing issue. I used to think there was something wrong with me, but I'm a typical entrepreneur. No, Jumpstart started in a completely different way, and I'm going to take you through a couple of minutes on how we got to where we are today. And today, in a nutshell, what Jumpstart has become is a platform for any accountant, bookkeeper, aspiring accountant, bookkeeper, even people like Eileen that weren't even accountants. Eileen was a bank manager, and somehow she found her way onto the Bedrock accounting team. So you don't even have to be an accountant now to do Jumpstart. And what it's evolved into is something that I'm really, really excited about, which is showing Philippine accountants and, like I said, aspiring accountants, maybe former bank managers like Eileen, uh, how to start and build their own accounting agency. Now, there is a worldwide shortage of accountants. I focus on the US because I know the US market. That's what I've done for over 40 years now. I know the US entrepreneur. But the truth is, if you want to become a freelance accountant, you don't even have to limit yourself to the United States. Yet, the United States, people there have money. People there have money. But maybe you're looking for something in a different time zone, like Australia. Okay, Australia is, I don't know exactly what their time zone is, but they're not, US is 12 hours behind us here in the Philippines. But basically, the Jumpstart community is has evolved into a platform where we're going to give you a roadmap no matter where you are in your career, in your life, to becoming an agency owner. Now, some of you might say, that's impossible. That's impossible. I have no accounting experience. I'm too old. I don't speak English well enough. Well, those are all limiting beliefs. Those are all limiting beliefs. So let me go back to how this actually started, because I like to know the history behind everything. And I don't want this to get lost in the shuffle. First, the first uh, contact that I actually had with any Philippine freelancers was when I hired my coach, Larry Broughton. And he had started this business called Hire My VA. And what him and his partner, Dave Braun, did was they created a course, a platform where they taught people specifically how to hire Philippine VAs. And I said to myself, I've been hiring remote workers for over 20 years. Somehow I skipped over the Philippines. Don't ask me how, but I've gone to every other country, starting with India, Budapest, Pakistan, from all different types of jobs, from web design to SEO, and yes, even accountants. And some of them worked out. Okay, I know that I had a really talented program designer. He was helping me design this web app. That was a whole nother story. But some of them worked out good. The web designer I had was with me for years. The accountants, none of the accountants ever worked out, and the reason was it was simple. At first, I thought it was me. I don't communicate right. I'm not giving them clear instructions. But for decades, I had been trying to scale my business using remote workers. Why did I go remote? Because the simple truth was it just wasn't enough talent in the United States. Anybody that was available was very, very expensive. They were very, very expensive because they could ask for top dollar. And if they were available, it meant that they didn't have their own business. You see, it doesn't take a lot in the United States. If you're an accountant, you don't even have to be a CPA. If you can just do accounting and tax preparation, it's pretty easy to start an accounting business, a tax preparation business. And it goes back to the fact that there's just not enough qualified people. Okay, so the pool of talent in the United States wasn't there. That's why when I learned about remote accounting, I said, oh my God, I'm not limited to hiring people geographically in my geographic area. And the first person I hired was my mom. Okay, she lived 2,000 miles away. And if you're over 60 and you have no experience, I want you to listen clearly here. She was 62, never did any bookkeeping, and I taught her how to do bookkeeping on QuickBooks remotely. All of this was remote. And then I taught her how to do payroll. And for over 15 years, she helped me run my business. When I started Bedrock, she decided to retire. She didn't actually retire. She went on to start an Etsy store, believe it or not. She just didn't want to learn all the new software and all the new systems. And when she left, I realized how hard her job was. Actually, what she did on a daily basis, which was dealing with the clients, getting their info. It's the hardest part of the accounting business. Okay, so fast forward to Larry Broughton introducing me to hire my VA, and it worked. It was a system, believe it or not, that taught me a lot about what I was doing wrong in the hiring process. So not only did he introduce me to the Philippine community, he taught me what I was doing wrong when I was hiring people. And that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I was lucky enough to connect with a wonderful woman who's still with us, Janine. She started as somebody that was going to help us with graphic design and social media. Today, she's the VP of marketing. So and that's in less than 4 years. So she went from, she's just going to help us do the social media, and now she learned how to do web design. She learned how to publish books on Amazon. Now she's doing sales funnels and Facebook ads. So anyway, that was my first introduction to the Philippine community. Then I said, wow, this worked. Maybe we can do the same thing with accountants, because that's what I really need. I really need accountants, because I knew I was in the marketing mode and I was getting clients. I never had a problem getting the clients, but I needed somebody to do the work. I needed somebody to do basically what my mom was doing. Okay, so we started hiring accountants. And, the first couple, didn't really work out, but then we hired Luz. Luz is now our director of operations. She went from not even, so again, Luz had been with a corporation, for a pretty large corporation. They had over 100 employees, local company, and she was basically the operations manager for that company. She had an accounting degree, but again, no accounting experience. So I hired her anyway, and it was the middle of tax season. I think it was the second week in March, which, if you know anything about American taxes, that's, you don't want to start then. Okay. Plus, it was total chaos. We were starting with a new accounting system, Wave Apps, which I had no idea how to use. So I threw loose. Every one of our clients were behind. She didn't know how to use the software, the accounting software. She never did U.S. taxes, so she learned that. We didn't have courses then. Now we have a whole slate of courses. Fast forward, we have, I think, 14 or 15 full-time team members now. Half of them are in the accounting department. The other half in the marketing department. So I think it was October of 2022. Oh, here's Luz. Hi, Luz. You're supposed to be working. I don't know why she's on the Facebook Live here, but yeah, and hi to everybody else. I see Deck here. I see Rona, Tuesday, Rika, Anna, ER. Thank you all. If you can give me a hashtag live, it will make me feel good, because when I see comments in my Facebook post, I get all warm and fuzzy. But anyway, so, at this time, I think we had 8 or 10 full-time team members in the Philippines. I had never been here before. And I looked at my calendar and I said, December is pretty slow. How about I book a trip to the Philippines, and I get to meet Luz and Catherine and Jasmine at that time, and Janine. It would be nice to actually see and meet all of these awesome people that are helping me scale my business. And then somebody had the suggestion. They said, how about if, because at that time we had the classes, we had the book. They said, maybe we can do like some kind of book signings. And then it became a whole, where are we going to do this? Now we got to invite people. And then I just said, why don't we just have an event? Why don't we just have an event? We just invite everybody. We could sign the books at the event. Then we got guest speakers. We got Coach Yan Yan, which was her first speaking event. We got John Pagalayan, and we got Coach Kaji. Okay, so we got some superstars to speak at the event, and amazing things happened. Amazing things happened. People loved it. We started getting success stories. I know that from that we hired one of our team members, Grace. So she was at our Jumpstart 1. And the story with Grace was that she had been separated from her family, I think, for over 15 years, because she had to live and work in Manila to support her family. When she learned about being able to work from home, she did it. And now she's home with her family. And it's a success story. I love stories like that. And we have a bunch of them. So now I come to the Philippines for the event. I love it here. I go home. We go through taxis, and I'm like, I think I want to visit the Philippines again. Came back here, visited for another couple of weeks, went home, and I realized, I said, I like being in the Philippines a lot more than I like being in New York. See, in New York, I got to drive. things are expensive. There's a whole different mentality. So I said, long story short, I wound up moving back here. Moving here, I think in July of 2023. Okay. And in between, so now we plan a second Jumpstart 2, because the first one was so much fun. And I know Janine got a lot of great experience. Actually, for Janine, it was a total, out of her comfort zone, but it was a great success. We had over 100 people there. My friend Larry Broughton, my coach, actually flew in from the United States, and it was great. It was a great event, and it was so good that I decided I don't ever want to do an event like that again. Okay, not that we didn't have a great event. It was just a lot. It's, if you've ever put on an event, try not to do big events. It's hard to get people to come to an event. Okay, so after the event, because everybody wants to know when is the next Jumpstart, and I didn't have the heart to tell them at that point that we're never having a big. I don't want to put Janine and our marketing team through that. So I see my intern Mariel is here, so I'm going to get through this, and then we'll bring Mariel on, because that's why you're all really here. I asked Larry, I said, what do we do with all this positive energy, this Jumpstart community? And he said, you start a community. And that's how the Jumpstart community was born. And then we had to determine, okay, what exactly is Jumpstart going to be? Are we going to charge people for this? Is it going to be free? I mean, what's the purpose of Jumpstart? And like I said, what it evolved into is a platform, a roadmap to starting and building and running your own agency. Now, no matter where you are in your career, in your life, we have one woman who is a widow with 5 children, and she just wants a new career because now the children are older. We have people that have, some of their own clients. We have people that are still working in a physical brick and mortar job, and all different types of people in all different stages in their career, different age groups. We have, the woman Vivian that I interviewed last week, young woman, did high-end accounting and auditing work, and now she wants to start her own agency. So no matter where you are in your life, in your career, however old you are, all you need is the desire. So if you're still working in a brick and mortar job, and there's specific steps we will take you through. Number one, you want to become a remote worker. That's the first step. Number two, you want to get accounting experience. So we show people exactly, this is how you're going to get an accounting job, starting with your LinkedIn profile, your resume, your headshot. Okay. Then we're going to show you how to get your first client, which is like a watershed event. Once you get your first client, then you want to get more clients. And you want to get enough clients so that you could go full time with your own business. You're not an agency owner yet. You own an accounting business. You become an agency owner when you have to start hiring team members. So there's all different levels, and what we have is we have a 12-month program. We've just started it. It's starting out with communication skills, public speaking, and now the way it's mapped out is we have a free community. We have a Facebook group where we're providing all kinds of resources, information, uh, knowledge, uh, community, for all for free, no charge. And if Eileen or Luz is here, maybe you could put a link in the chat box too, so people could sign up to the community. And we have what we call a premium membership, where we have interactive workshops. We have expert speakers coming in every week, uh, breakout rooms, and like I said, you're going to be creating basically your own agency blueprint. You could call it a business plan, a blueprint, whatever it is. I don't care what you call it, but it's going to put you on track to starting and building your own agency. Now, some of you might say, well, I don't really want my own agency. That's a big responsibility. You know, you got to make sure you got cash flow to pay people. Well, that's fine. Maybe you just want to become a remote worker. Maybe you just want a remote accounting business. Or you want to be a remote worker and maybe get a few of your own clients. That's fine. That's fine. You can do that or anything in between. So that's what the Jumpstart community is all about. And right now, what I'd like to do is introduce one. Thank you, Eileen. So Eileen just put the link in the chat box. Uh, so we are going to spend the next couple of minutes speaking with a new rising star, Mariel. So hello, Mariel. How are you?
Hello, Joe. I'm fine. Thank you for being with you here tonight for giving me this rare opportunity. Thank you.
My my pleasure. So let's focus on you now. So uh, where were you born and where do you live now?
So I was born here in the Philippines and I'm now residing presently in Naga City, Camarines Sur, Bicol, where Mayon volcano is is where you will find.
Okay, now what's your accounting background?
So my accounting background is I used to work with one of the government agencies here in the Philippines. And I do, before I resigned early, I do a lot of administrative support, bookkeeping, and accounting for almost 27 years before I early retired due to um, government streamlining in 2023. So after that, 2024, I opened up my own bookkeeping services. So for almost 10 years now. So, and I handle local
So
clients.
so that's a big jump, and I'll tell you why. Because you're working for a government entity, right? Now you're
Yes,
handling what? Small local businesses, correct?
correct.
Is
I
there
cater small
I know what
business.
the answer is, but I want you to tell everybody. Is there a
Yeah.
difference between working in a job like that and handling small local businesses?
Oh, yes. Big difference, Joe, because employment, you have your 8 to 5 here, 8 to 5 work. So, but with freelancing, bookkeeping, I have my own time. So I love what I do now. Uh, Helping small business owners. I cater for small business because they are simple, but not really that easy for them. So it's if ever they have that opportunity to have their own time to transition, especially now that we have our home work from home. So I highly encourage them to work from home, to have their own time, to be free, to be with their family. So that's
So that's a great point. So, and that's what happened with my mom. For me, I was like, oh, I just want to build a remote accounting practice. I didn't realize the other benefits, because really what it did for my mom, she was working part time at a brick and mortar place, at she was working as a real estate management office. Okay, but she had to get in her car, leave her parents, and go to work. When she started working for me, she could make her own time, her own schedule. So, and what I see, so we do polls now, and because I want to know, okay, what's driving people, what's motivating people to want to, be a freelancer, and it wasn't what I thought it would be. I thought it would be because, I'm an entrepreneur. I started a business because I want to make money. Yeah, I want to be free, but what I see, the results of the polls is over 60% of the people that are doing this want work-life balance. They want what you have, what you realize. Hey, I can, like our team members, everybody's on flex time. Uh, if somebody has, an event at school, the graduation, they just they make up the time. That's freeing, isn't it?
yes. I
It's like you
enjoyed.
cut the chain from your 8 to 5, right?
Yes, you can go anytime. You can, but then you also help them. So you really have your time freedom. So that's really my dream that time during I was in the government doing uh, 8 to 5 job,
How
and
far was yeah, how
the
far was
fact
the commute?
uh,
How long did it take you to get to work?
uh, actually we're just in the city, so it's just 1 hour. And
1 hour.
but the challenge is that I have plenty of kids that time. So I really hate that uh the time with your children. So I was telling those uh freelancers today that they are so lucky that they have that work from home because they can take care of their children at home anytime. They can
Well,
spend their
if you start
time.
doing the math, so you're working from 8 to 5, that means you got to get there at 8 and you leave at 5. So that means if it's an hour, you got to leave your house at 7, and then you don't get home until 6,
Yeah,
right?
that's right, Joe. But
And
now I can I have the freedom
yeah,
to 2 days work, 2 days work, 3 days vacation or work life balance. So
so
that's the
now
beauty of
what
freelancing.
about, what about the transition from doing, government accounting work to now you're doing, you know, somebody's books, because
Uh,
that totally different type of accounting. Now you got to use, I don't know if you're doing it manually or if you are using, a program.
yeah.
How did you
Uh,
transition from?
from transition, first of all, the mindset. So the mindset, Joe, from employed to self-employed. So that was the struggle then. And then the client getting. So, but then when I first got my first client, there were the sudot, kumbaga, ano na lang, they come and go. They come, the clients come. And then, uh, as of now, usually that's the challenge. So it's more on manual. But then I usually teach them, the client or the staff of the client, the books. So,
Oops, we lost our 1 second.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Lost
they have, yeah. So I teach them, either the owner or the staff, because in here in the Philippines, BIR, the bureau, conducts tax mapping, so that if they visit the store or the premises, and the books are messy, then they are subject to penalties. So it's never the role of the big bookkeeper to record the daily transaction. So I teach them how to record. I Although I from the start, I already set up the books so that they can use it. So, but
Okay.
now we have this transitioning to digitalization. We have this software, but still, small business owner here do not. They are not still familiar. So we have to educate them really
Yeah, so
for that.
you're actually creating an accounting system for that. That's what
Yeah.
accountants are supposed to do. That's what we're
Yes.
supposed to do. That American accountants don't really do that anymore, and that's part of the problem. But so you retired and then you got your first client, right? Or did you get your first client before you retired?
So, Joe, I was really having that backup plan before retiring. So I registered my business with the bureau so that I have that confidence and courage to market myself. So I put up a streamer outside my house, bookkeeping services, and somebody knocked at the door. And
Really?
she, yeah, he told me that um, the his books is messy and I have to clean it up. And then that time, right at that door, he issued a 5-digit check. So I was really happy because that time in 2013, a 5-digit check is big, big enough. And I was so happy. So this is only one client. How about if I get some clients more? So that urge for me to pursue this business. Although it's really, we have challenges because it's really people's business and relationship business. You have to do to uh, get to know your clients because it's a service business. And if service, we have to offer that unique service which which others don't have to offer.
Yes.
So
I-
that's
I'm glad you mentioned that because they didn't teach me that in accounting school when I went to I wound up doing a lot of things that they didn't prepare me for in college. And one of them, because I thought, oh, we're doing people's accounting, we're doing their balance sheet. And then when I'm dealing, and when you're doing it for big companies, it's not as, it's a different dynamic. But when you're working with small business owners, and the bulk of businesses, the majority of businesses out there are run by small businesses, by small business owners. I didn't know how much of the business was about the relationship. And this is what I teach people in our course. I'm like, this is a relationship business. You could be the best accountant in the world, but if you don't know how to communicate with people and put them at ease, you're not going to get many clients. But let me talk. Let's talk for a minute about that first client because I went through. There's different stages of getting to your own agency. And one of them, one of the watershed moments is getting that first client. Now you did it in a way that I don't know if I ever saw it done like that. But I'm going to start telling people because it's also the mindset. You mentioned the mindset. You had the audacity, the guts to actually put a sign up, right? And at this point,
Yes.
you don't have any clients. Well, you have are expenses. You spent time and money to set up your business, and somebody actually knocked on your door. How did that feel?
Actually, I was really thankful and grateful to God because I really prayed for it, Joe. So um, it's a different kind of feeling that if ever you got one, only one for the first time, everything will follow. Someone will follow. So true enough, uh, there were many who followed. So that's my experience. So that's local. So maybe in foreign, if given the chance or the chance to expand my business in foreign, maybe only one that the power of one will ripple effect, will have the triple effect. You'll always have the triple effect.
Yeah, that's good. I love that because when you get, so I'll never forget, my first client was a college friend of mine. And he asked me to do his return. I said, I'll do it, but you got to pay me because now I'm an accountant. And he's like, no problem. And I did it and I charged him $25. But when I got that check, I'll never forget. It was like, oh my God, I actually got somebody to pay me to do this. And I felt just like you felt. I was like, if I could get him to pay me, who else can I get to pay me? And then I got my mother sent me, she was doing nails and she sent me somebody. And then before I knew it, people were just coming to me. So how long did it take you? So now you get your first client. How did you get your next client?
So my next client was more
You're
on more word of mouth advertisement. So and then usually in our office before I retire, because we know that the next year we'll be retiring. So I do a lot of word of mouth advertisement that I will be doing bookkeeping services because in the office I do bookkeeping. So uh, it's really good that whatever skill we have, it's we should have to kumbaga, we have to practice it because we all do have that. So there, they keep coming, and but then it's more on we have challenges. They come and go. They come and go. Some come and go. But then, as of now, since we have uh, uh, again the business is booming after the pandemic, so now there is a lot of opportunity for bookkeepers for more clients. So as of now, really to cope up with the digitalization, with the ever-changing digitalization, really, especially me, I have to really educate myself to cope up with that. So it's really important. Ever since I always equip myself. I always enroll in education, in continuing education. So because no one will help me. Although I cannot do this all alone in the business, but then I have to equip myself, to upgrade myself, to upskill myself to help my clients, to educate also my clients. Because I believe that a well-informed client, educated client, taxpayers are compliant. They are compliant.
yeah.
So,
I just got done sending an email out to all of our clients, and I basically told them, I said, it's all about compliance now. It's about staying one step ahead of the government, dotting all our I's, crossing all our T's. Uh, but I want to point something out that you said, and I try to convey this to students and the people in our community. What I'm hearing from you is it really started with your mindset, right?
Yeah.
Prayer, there's always power in prayer, right? But you believe that you can do it. You put that sign up, and God sent somebody to knock on your door as validation that, yeah, you can do this. All you got to do is take action. Nobody would have knocked on your door if you didn't put a sign up, right? So you had to
Yes,
do
Joe.
something. You had to do something. And the effect was somebody knocked on your door, and then you had the nerve to tell people, hey, I'm starting a bookkeeping business. This is exactly what I tell people. I said, it is so easy to get clients, and I'll prove it to you. And if you're listening now, if you don't think you can get clients, do this. Tell 5 people that you know that you're starting your own bookkeeping business. Don't ask them for their business because it doesn't work like that. What you do is you say, listen, I'm starting my own bookkeeping business. I'm looking for people that I might be able to help. If you know anybody that I might be able to help, give them my number. Connect them with me. Every time I've done this with people and they follow that, they all come back and say, oh my God, I actually got leads. you know and it's really, in the United States, it's as simple as that. You have to ask. Okay. And I'm not a you know I'm Christian. I study what Jesus does, what he did, and what he said. And one of the most powerful things that I got from his teaching is all you have to do is ask, right?
So,
If you ask, it's already done. And what I see from our students and people in the community, they're afraid to ask, Mario. They're afraid to because they don't have the confidence. They make excuses. I don't speak English well enough. I don't have enough experience. Uh, I'm too old. And I tell them the story of my mother. I'm like, my mother was 62 with no experience. Okay, so you're a powerful example of that it could be done. That it could be done, right? So now you wind up on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You want to say something?
yeah, it's because Joe, you're not asking me why I did that. It's because I have 6 kids to feed that time. They are
Ah,
all in school. So that's why to help my husband bring food to the table was the driving force for me to uh, to help him.
wow.
So
And I
it's
do
really
teach that. I watched a video about it was about 10 years ago, and it was on YouTube, and I recommend everybody watch this. And it was called "Start with Why." This guy Simon Sinek, and and the reason why I tell people to find their why is because it will motivate you. It will get you up in the morning. Having to feed 6 children, I think, is a pretty powerful why.
yes,
That's what got you to put the sign up. That's what got you to tell everybody, right? You're like, listen, I'm
yes,
doing
Joe.
it. Yeah. So thank you for mentioning that. I had no idea. I really had no. How old are your children?
My children range from 32 years old, the eldest, and 20, the youngest. So I have
Wow.
already three graduates and working.
How
So
many grandchildren?
Come again, Joe.
Grandchildren.
Grandchildren. I have two already.
Okay. I love grandchildren because you get to play with them, and then you can
Yes.
leave them to their parents. Say, okay, now you can
It
take
feels
care.
such young. It feels such young, Joe.
So let's talk for a few minutes. So if anybody has any questions for Mariel, just put them in the chat. We got a lot of people uh, watching. I could see here. Uh, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by your story, and I'm wondering, how did this wonderful woman wind up as a student at Bedrock? Like, how did you connect with us, and why did you decide to take our course?
Well, I browse up in 2021. Really, I was really actually I'm a person passionate for educating myself. I am a lifelong learner, Joe. It's because really my parents are both in the academy. So maybe I inherit that DNA in them to be lifelong learner. I feel burnout when I don't have that new learnings in my head. So uh, I joined a community, and then my passion really is tax preparation here in the Philippines. So when I saw Bedrock that you will be offering a 5 week 5 week course for accountants for tax preparation, I did not hesitate to enroll. So
So
and then after that, you know, Joe, it's really it's really an extra mile for me because that was April. That was tax preparation here in the Philippines, the due dates. But then, you know that the practice set of the bedrock all done. But yet after the 5 week course, I was really saying, can I uh intern? Can I be an intern in Bedrock? That was last year. I remember May, graduate in June. So after June, I told some staff of your some of your staff, I really asked for, can I be an intern? You will be. So only now, after 1 year, I become an intern. And thank you. And thank you so much for that opportunity and privilege to be an intern. I'm learning a lot in the actual US taxation. It's not actually bookkeeping, it's more on CFO. And okay, I shout out to TL Rona, my team leader in, in Bedrock
she's here.
now.
She's watching.
Yes, and my team, co-interns, Mommy Juliet and Sis Vivian. Thank you. So
Yes.
thank you so much, John, for this opportunity, and thank you. Tomorrow again will be our Jumpstart Premium. I really enrolled because it will help a lot in building my or our agency.
Yeah.
So
No, thank you. Thank you. You know, you're the poster child for why we do this. You know, like I said, when I tell my story about Jumpstart, this even the courses weren't my idea. It just and this is why I tell people, I'm like, if somebody doesn't believe in God, I'm like, I'm living proof. I'm living proof because he just keeps opening doors. And if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be teaching Philippine people how to do U.S. accounting. And now we have this whole Jumpstart community. Uh, so I'm grateful for you and everybody else that are part of the community, our team, everything, everything. Uh, but I want to make a couple of points here because I've learned a little bit about Philippine accounting and the tax system. The U.S. tax system is completely different, completely different from the Philippine system. We go by bank statements. We don't even care about looking at clients' receipts. You don't need to attach an audited financial report to a U.S. tax return. You've been doing it for some time now, right? You took the course. Am I right? Is this accurate that it's completely different?
Yes, yes. It's different. Although there are some principles that are the same, but different. It's different.
Yeah, the overall principles, having, you still need to have books. And in fact, what's going on in the United States, believe it or not, it's going to start getting closer to what you do in the Philippines as far as having documentation. See, that's part of the problem. That's why in the U.S. tax system, uh, keeping receipts, people have gotten lazy, sloppy. That's all going to change. That's all going to change in the next couple of years. But as far as the compliance, I mean, the Philippine system is so much more rigid. Okay, it's hard to start a business here. I mean, I did. It took months. I could literally get a business up and running in an hour in the United States. And when I say up and running, I could have an entity set up, a bank account, and they could be invoicing clients in an hour. So it's completely different, and that's why there's such a big opportunity for people to get into the U.S. market. Okay, so it's pretty exciting when I see somebody like you come in. We have somebody he's going to be taking the class. He actually has a pretty successful accounting practice in the Philippines. He's got hundreds of, I think he said he has 300 clients, 15 full-time employees. And I said, well, why would you want to? You already have a successful business. And he said he's tired of the Philippine tax system, you know? Yeah. So you're going to be and you're in the position right now. We're going to talk about, let's get you your first U.S. clients. That's what we're going to be doing in Jumpstart. We're going to start telling people, listen, this is how you're going to get your first U.S. client. And it's going to be sort of like what you did where you hung out your shingle, only it's going to be virtual. Okay, you got to let people know, hey, I'm doing U.S. taxes now. And then we're going to start seeing success stories. Does that sound okay with you?
Yes, yes, Joe. Yes, Joe. That's
Okay.
why I have enrolled in Jumpstart.
Yeah.
So,
So you said
so
a lot of important things, foundational things that I try to teach. Starting with the mindset. It always starts with our thinking. You got to believe that it can be done, right?
yes, it can
And
be.
then you got to take action. And I like what you said about the lifetime learning and the fact that we're in a relationship business. That's why when I started Bedrock, I basically insisted that all of our accountants get used to talking to the U.S. clients. At first, it was difficult, and Luz knows the story. I actually tricked her into meeting with a couple of our clients. I told her, I said, "Yeah, I'll be in the meeting. You're just going to listen." And then I went and took a nap because I said, what is she going to do? She's going to have to do the meeting. And at the end, because I knew these were really nice people, after the meeting, she's like, it was so easy. They were so nice. And she gets everybody to go into the client meeting. It's scary at first. I understand that because now you're talking to somebody in another country. It's, but for all, and I'm amazed at our team now because I'm like, what's going on? My clients don't even contact me anymore. It's because they're talking to the accounting team.
Yes.
They don't need to go back to me. Anyway, would you like to talk to your fans out there? It looks like you got a lot of people watching. What would you like to say to them?
Okay. So thank you, Joe, for giving me this
You,
opportunity
if you listen,
to greet them.
you could speak
Yeah,
in Tagalog. You could
I
speak in.
I can speak. Okay, so thank you so much out there to my team, to the team where I belong, the team Resilience. They are watching now, and also my co-interns, Mami Juliet. Thank you so much. Salamat po, and I thank you lahat na nag-attend po or nag-watch ng interview with Joe. So uh, it helped me a lot. Although I'm not used for this opportunity to be on a spotlight, and yet I have done this. Thank you for your prayers. Salamat sa mga dasal nyo. God is good. And thank you so much, especially to Eldec, uh, Sis Vivian, Mami Juliet, and my team leader in Bedrock internship, Sis Rona. Thank you so much, Mrs. Luz. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Salamat.
Okay, I just wanted you to see a couple of the comments here. So Vivian says she's superwoman. Uh, Here's one from Liz. Look good, TL. uh, Eileen, congrats. Let's see. I don't know what that means. Can you
Galing. Good daw. Good. Good.
and
Galing.
let's see here, Deck Team Resilience here. So you got followers now. All
You
right,
have my team members.
yeah. Thank you so much for showing up, for telling us your story. I like to say the best is yet to come. And that's our story, folks. We're sticking with it. God bless. And I encourage you to listen to Mariel's story. And, you know, if you have any doubts, just number one, pray and do some of the things. Do the things that she did. Take action. Let people know that you're starting your own business. And here's one of my new best friends, Josie. How are you, Josie? All right, that's our story, folks. We're sticking with it. God bless. Have a great weekend. If you're in the Jumpstart community, we have a real treat for you tomorrow. We have Larry Broughton talking about public speaking. All right, good night and have a great
Good
weekend.
night.